truly sympathetic to what you've had to go through. I mean, most show organisers that we've talked to through 2020 have tried desperately to hang on to the show because, you know, the show is the revenue stream for an exhibition. It's the event. There's a lot of folks from all around the world, 120,000 at the last count, that love coming to California for not just the sunshine, but NAMM is more than a trade show. It's a vibe. It's a feeling. We all come there for a reason.
We couldn't have really left the 20 NAMM Show with more optimism for the year ahead. Everything was pretty smooth sailing. Yet 6 weeks later, the decision to cancel was the easy part, right? I mean, you think about California is still under these, very heavy lockdowns. The governor has limited gatherings. An event like the NAMM Show is on the very last end of the governor's openings. Right now, it's absolutely illegal to try and gather people like at the trade show. It's just not even possible. Yeah. And, we had worked with a lot of medical experts on how we would do it if we were given any kind of green light. So we were prepared. That's safe and sound. We were actually going to implement a number of changes. But when August came around, and this was really kind of our go, no-go date, and because of the amount of planning that not only NAMM has to do, but the city and all our members. And if you're planning a large exhibit, you've got to really take the time to do that. So August was our moment. And the decision was easy because it's still illegal to have the events in California. We thought about moving it to another state, but at the same time, when other states were opening, then they would close again if they had more cases. So the uncertainty led to the easy decision. The hard part was accepting it. The hard part was realizing that, okay, we are now part of history that has not happened since the early 1940s, where a NAMM Show has been canceled because of global events. We are all part of that history now. This will be the story we have when we come back again.
You've got a virtual trade show platform. Now, we've experienced the virtual world to have evolved quite significantly in the last 6 months because whether we like it or not, here we are. Tell us what we can expect from your virtual trade show. How will it differ from a virtual trade show?
We've given this a tremendous amount of thought, as you can imagine, and there have been many that have gone before us already, so we can really study what worked, what sort of worked, what maybe didn't quite connect. And I think a couple of things have come out in our minds. First and foremost is nothing we've seen has been able to replace what we believe is that face-to-face physical gathering. Nothing has come close to it yet. And while on one side, we're disappointed because we can't, learn from what has worked really, really well. On the other hand, you sit there and go, well, okay, that's good. Nothing in the technology space has actually been able to replace the feeling of people coming together. We had to come into it we realized it's not going to be a NAMM Show. And I think that would be a mistake. If anyone, if we go out and try and say this is going to be a virtual NAMM Show, then we'd be probably selling something that it's not. The NAMM Show is the NAMM Show. It's walking into that, campus and seeing the Ground Plaza and walking into this 1.6 million square foot building and feeling the energy that's just flowing out of it. That's the NAMM Show. This won't be that. But what this will do is we had to really try and accomplish 3 goals with this. One is a marketplace. There are still some incredibly new, innovative products coming out, and people need a voice to launch them. Second is education, right? I mean, every one of us, whatever skill we had a year ago, 2 years ago, is almost obsolete now. We need to continue to grow. So the education has to be there on all facets, from music retail to sound production to touring to safety. Event safety is going to be one of the bigger things that comes out of this, the awareness of event safety. So education has to be there. And then third is the opportunity for networking and the fun things. And that's NAMM TV. We're going to try and have some fun with this and never forget the fact that music is our bedrock.
Getting away from the NAMM Show, because it's not just the show. You're an organisation, you're a 365, like I say. You do Summer NAMM as well, but forget about the events. Do you think this helps having a pandemic, that you're going to say, right, there's no show, but there's more to us than that? Do you think everyone who comes to the show will be able to think, well, we didn't realise that? What can you tell them? What can you tell them about the NAMM organisation, that why they should be checking in with you?
Think about our simple model. Trade show revenue is then reinvested to support the industry at all levels. which helps the industry grow, which helps the company grows, which helps the show grow. That's the business model. So the show itself is the launching pad for a whole year of effective government relations, lobbying. And this year it's been more important than ever. Luckily, and this is again a happy accident in a way, we felt the need to increase our government relations presence, mostly in the US, but increasingly around the world. And we dramatically increased our budget last year for lobbying and increased the number of people involved in the consultants in DC. It could not have been a better moment to do that, because once March hit and the federal response to COVID, we were at that table helping our members get this relief funding, loans, forgivable loans, Paycheck Protection Program money, unemployment benefits for gig workers and touring people, and then literally helping our members apply. Our staff was literally with our members, okay, go to your files, pull these forms out, taxes and all that. Now, log on to this website, put this in here. We were literally hand walking our members through how to get this aid. And it resulted in tens of millions, and I would argue, I haven't tallied it up yet, but probably hundreds of millions of dollars that helped our industry get through the last 5 months. But the idea of, if you don't have a voice, if you're not industry, you need to be a tip of a spear of an industry. If you don't have a voice, if you're just a bunch of gypsies out there, independent, which is a lot of our industry, you're either at the table in Washington or you're on the menu. And this pandemic has proven once again how important it is to have a voice as an industry, as a whole industry. And it's been very effective. So that's just one example. But the idea of how will schools reopen with music programs safely? We've just funded 2 studies over the summer about the spread of aerosols in music rooms, in choral rooms. Now, that will also be used in how to effectively set up concert halls or theaters. But no one's ever studied what is the aerosol spray of a trombone versus a clarinet, of singing versus talking. But we had the ability through NAMM Foundation to fund those credible studies. The results are out now, and it's helping schools figure out how much protection they need between players and how much you can do outside versus inside. Little known fact, trombones, aerosol spray everywhere. Clarinets, very little. Would I have known that before this? Nope. Will I use that in some game show if I'm ever quizzed on that? Sure. But anyway, the idea of helping the industry with these areas that no one company would have funded a study on aerosols. No one company would have been able to go to DC and speak to power about the industry's, the suffering of the live event touring industry. No one would be able to do that individually, but as collectively we can. And that's what NAMM has been, maybe more important than ever, collectively speaking with our industry and for our industry. Again, tough times reveal character, tough times reveal who's willing to really get in there and fight. We've got some great NAMM members. I'm so proud of them. They have just been stepping up and we've been able to work by their side, but help them get into places they wouldn't be able to get into individually.
You kickstart everyone's year with the NAMM Show. That it's fortuitous time, and obviously you don't get a Christmas, New Year celebrations because you're flat out with the final preparations. That you'll get that this year. I don't think you want it. Although you'll probably be busier than ever putting this 4-day Believe in Music event together. But it's going to be a real hit for everybody. But we'll get through this together, I'm sure.
Our industry, think of all your listeners too, how many of them are used to traveling all the time and haven't traveled? That'll be one of the memories we have of this, of just getting off the road. That's such a weird thing. I mean, I would travel usually half the month, and it's just such an interesting thing to have, and I hope everyone is appreciating this moment, because it's going to pass and we're all going to be on the road again soon. But the idea of being home, being home with your family, there's this running joke I love. It's like, yeah, I met this woman in my neighborhood. She really nice, claims she's my wife. It's like being home has kind of been a cool thing to kind of just, it's fun, but we'll be back on the road again soon, I know.